Seasons, open parenthesis, but those two seasons aren't conjoining in parenthesis. Well, it turns out the 2 months I chose, February and October, are conjoined if you think about it. But I don't feel like changing it, so just think of it. So from winter to fall, there's 2 month seasons in between, spring and summer. Those aren't conjoining. So if you just think of it like that instead of the reverse way from fall to winter, we should be okay. So let's jump in. Alright, so this is just a correction from earlier. So my timeline, which is called A War of Two Seasons, open parenthesis, but those two seasons aren't conjoining in parenthesis. Well, it turns out the 2 months I chose, February and October, are conjoined if you think about it. But I don't feel like changing it, so just think of it. So from winter to fall, there's 2 month seasons in between, spring and summer. Those aren't conjoining. So if you just think of it like that instead of the reverse way from fall to winter, we should be okay. Alright, anyways, so here are the dates on this timeline. Okay, so there's the first one. February 4th, 1862, Confederate forces in Fort Hayman withdraw to Fort Henry and head across the Tennessee River. February 6th, 1862, the Battle of Fort Henry. February 7th, 1862, the Battle of Roanoke Island. February 8th, 1862, the Union captures Roanoke Island, taking some 2,765 Confederates as prisoners. February 7th, 1862, Stonewall Jackson withdraws from Romney and returns to Winchester. February 9th, 1862, Union Brigadier General Charles Stone arrested and taken to Fort Lafayette, New York, and placed in solitary confinement. He was not told the reason for his confinement. February 10th, 1862, after taking the Roanoke Island, Union Navy destroys the Confederate ships in the Pamlico Sound. Once again, February 10th, 1862, Navy Secretary Gideon Wills creates what becomes today's National Academy of Science. February 13, 1862, is the Battle of Fort Donelson. February 16, 1862, at that same battle, Ulysses Grant demands the unconditional surrender of the garrison from Simon Bolivar Buckner in Forts Henry and Donelson. February 13, 1862, John Floyd assumes command at Fort Donelson. On February 17th, John Floyd arrives in Nashville after leaving Simon Bolivar Buckner to surrender at Fort Donelson. February 20th, 1862, William Wallace Lincoln dies. The 12-year-old son of the U.S. president probably had typhoid fever. It's a downer. February 21st, 1862, the Battle of, well, it's quotations, the Battle of Val Verde. Federal forces under Colonel E.R.S. Canby are driven into Fort Craig by Brigadier General H.H. Sibley. February 22nd, 1862, Jefferson Davis is inaugurated as the first and only president of the Confederate States of America, and Alexander Stephens is inaugurated vice president. February 23rd, 1862, Ulysses S. Grant orders William Nelson to advance on Nashville. February 25th, 1862, Nelson enters Nashville, Tennessee, the first Confederate state capital to fall into Union hands. Don Carlos Buell accepts the city's surrender. Nathan Bedford Forrest provides a rear guard for Hardee's Army of Central Kentucky as it withdraws to Alabama. And February 28th is the Battle of New Madrid / Island number 10. This segment is called Who Said It? Said it. Alright, so here's Who Said It? So these are some Civil War quotes, and I found them online. And I'm going to read them off, and it's just a little halfway point, get a rest between whatever month, February and October, when I read off all those events. So here we go. All we ask is to be let alone. Jefferson Davis. If the Confederacy fails, there should be written on its tombstone, "Died of a theory." Jefferson Davis. Never be haughty to the humble or humble to the haughty. Jefferson Davis. Yeah. Let's see if there's a different one. Neither current events nor history show that the majority rule or ever did rule. Jefferson Davis. Oh, okay. I was really hoping for other quotes, or like Union quotes or something. But it was just Jefferson Davis quotes. So that's the end of Who Said It. Said it. October 1st, 1862. David Dixon Porter is given command of the Mississippi Squadron. So this is October now. October 3rd, 1862 is the Battle of Corinth. October 4th, 1862, Earl Van Dorn and Sterling Price of the Confederate States attack William Rosecrans of the Union northern perimeter, driving it back to a reinforced line. Rosecrans defends the city. October 4th, 1862, Richard Hawes is inaugurated as Confederate Governor of Kentucky. October 5th, 1862, the Battle of Hatchie Bridge. October 7th, 1862, the Battle of La Vergne. October 8th, the Battle of Perryville, which is the largest battle on Kentucky soil. October 10th, 1862 is the Battle of Harrodsburg. October 16th, 1862. 6 men escaped from a Fulton County jail in Atlanta, Georgia, and they would all receive the Medal of Honor afterwards. October 18th, 1862 is the Battle of Lexington. October 19th, 1862, Braxton Bragg moves south through the Cumberland Gap, essentially escaping the Army of the Ohio. That happens through October 23rd, 1862. October 24th, 1862, Don Carlos Buell is relieved of command from the Army of Ohio for his failure to pursue Braxton Bragg. That leads to October 26, 1862. Major General Samuel Heintzelman is put in command of Union forces protecting Washington, D.C. And then October 30th, 1862, Major General William Rosecrans assumes command of the Army of the Cumberland. And finally, October 30th, 1862, Major General Ormsby Mitchell dies from yellow fever.